Despite Doña Teodora's opposition to Rizal's enlistment in higher education, it was Don Francisco's choice to send him to the University of Santo Tomas. At first, Rizal was unsure of which career to pursue, choosing between literature, law, and medicine, as well as suggestions of priesthood or farming by his then Jesuit mentors. He was even discouraged by his brother, Paciano, in taking up law due to the country's political climate. Amidst his uncertainties, Rizal ultimately decided to take up philosophy and letters during his freshman year, partly due to his father's wishes and failure to heed the advice of the rector of Ateneo, Father Ramon Pablo. During his first year, he took up courses in cosmology, metaphysics, theodicy, and history of philosophy. At the same time, Rizal enrolled in a vocational surveying course at Ateneo. After a year, Rizal shifted to a medicinal program as advised by the previously mentioned Father Ramon. Another key factor to this decision was his mother's failing eyesight, which Rizal felt was his responsibility that he could owe up to upon finishing medicine. Contrary to his performance at Ateneo, Rizal was a mediocre student in UST. Although Rizal received excellent marks during his first year as a philosophy student, his records ranged mostly from fair to very good as a medicine student for 4 years. What were the reasons behind his performance? Firstly, Rizal was not pleased with the administration of UST. Dominican professors displayed hostility towards him. They were also racially discriminatory to Filipino students. The method of instruction in UST was also obsolete and repressive. Second, medicine was not Rizal's real vocation as it traced from his previous interests and experiences. His grades demonstrated his inclination towards liberal arts rather than medicine. Finally, as youth, Rizal was distracted by the urban environment of Manila, noted by his history of courtship and women. To name a few, he was known to be with Segundina Katigbak, Orang Valenzuela, and Leonor Rivera. Rizal's time was consumed with other things as well, such as parties, gang fights, and even cat classes. As a result, his academic performance was affected. As a metropolitan area, Manila was a hotspot of liberal ideas, in contrast to other areas of the country. This is due to many historical events experienced by the city, such as the Spanish Civil Wars, opening of the Suez Canal, and the introduction of the Philippines to the world trade. The desire of Filipino students and youth to understand and explain these happenings were heightened due to 19th century revolutions, including monasticism, catechism, and nationalism. Naturally, Rizal, as well as his colleagues, recognized these changes. As achievers, they desired to obtain achievement both scientifically and artistically. Rizal joined contests held by the Liceo Artístico Literario de Manila, an organization that promoted art and literature. Some of his entries were heralded as the best in the league. His primary motivation for joining the competition was simple: to prove that Filipinos can equal and surpass the Spaniards in literature. As mentioned earlier, some of Rizal's work as a student were named the best entries in the competition. One such work is La Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth, which was written at the age of 18, winning him the grand prize in the contest. The poem is recognized for two reasons. 1. It was the first great and widely recognized poem written in Spanish by a Filipino such that it had been acknowledged by the Spanish authorities. And 2. The poem expressed the nationalistic concept that the Filipinos were the hope of the future of the Philippines. As such, the poem can be said as Rizal's first literary demonstration of nationalism, which the Spanish jury failed to identify. Several lines in the poem suggest strong nationalism, such as pertaining to the country as the motherland, mi patria, and referring to the youth as the hope of the motherland, la bella esperanza de la patria mía. The main gist of the poem challenged the youth to do the three things: cultivate their talents in the arts, develop their knowledge of the sciences, and to look ahead and break free from the chains of colonial rule. Another recognized work of Rizal is the El Consejo de los Dioses, the Council of the Gods. Through the play, Rizal was able to prove the discriminatory ways of the Spanish jury by granting the award to a Spaniard upon identifying the author, Rizal, as a Filipino, although Rizal's play should have won the grand prize. Finally, one of his most notable literary contributions is the Junto al Pasig, Beside the Pasig. The play can be interpreted in two ways: as a demonstration of 50 years of revolution, invasion, defeat, subjugation, and civil uproar, or as a continuation of Rizal's request to the Filipino youth to approach foreign injustices. The Filipinas to the Philippines was the sonnet written by Rizal to praise the country's beauty and to encourage Filipino artists to glorify and uphold such beauty through their works. True to his nature, Rizal displayed leadership and activism as a student in UST. He fought against the discrimination of brown-skinned Filipinos against the mestizos, including name-calling such as Indio or Chongo, to which he and his colleagues retaliated against by calling them Castilla or Bangus. Such hostility embodied itself in physical brawls, in which Rizal regularly participated, especially with his skills in fencing, wrestling, and innate courage. Rizal also organized a secret society of Filipino students called the Compañerismo, his role being the president along with his secretary, Galiciano Apacibo.
Propeta. Compañerismo. Pagkakapatiran.
Rizal also boldly and loudly criticized the university's way of education during his time. He was aware of the humiliation and discrimination against Filipino students by the Dominican mentors, as well as the lack of apparatus and equipment necessary for effective learning. Rizal's first experience of unjust Spanish brutality was during his first vacation as a student of UST. He failed to recognize and salute to a lieutenant of the Guardia Civil and was physically scolded by the said lieutenant. Rizal was wounded as a result and sent a written complaint to Governor General Primo de Rivera. His testimony was ignored due to the fact that he was a Filipino or merely Indio. This event was jarring to Rizal, especially since he was self-aware of his talents and skills equal to that of a Spaniard, and yet he was regarded with inequality before the rule of law simply because of his nationality. This sparked Rizal's motive to find equal grounds among Filipinos and Spaniards, regardless of the means or the ends. After finishing his fourth year as a medicine student, Rizal left for Barcelona, Spain to finish his studies, partly due to his disappointment with education at the UST. However, based on the letter from Pasiano to Rizal on May 26, 1882, it was clear that Rizal had other motives for his departure. From the letter, we can identify that Rizal had multiple reasons in doing so. One was to make a name for himself in the field of journalism, another was to observe and study European society, and finally to prepare himself in his fight against Spanish rule and tyranny.